I speak with renowned Chinese novelist Yan Geling, whose novel You Touch Me will hit the cinemas this week under the title You're watching World Inside with me, Tian Wei. The world is changing fast. Those dramatic changes have given writers enormous amounts of inspiration and food for thought. Yan Geling is one of them. As one of the most acclaimed contemporary writers from China, she writes in both Chinese and English and has produced some of the most popular titles both in China and beyond. Many of her works have also been adapted into movies, but to her it is crucial to write things that previously would not have been possible, specifically documenting the intensity and real-life drama in China. Upon hearing the news that her latest novel, You Touched Me, will be brought to the big screen in China with the name Youth, I spoke with Yan Geling in her Beijing home. She recounted how a stubborn writer like her came into being, starting from the Cultural Revolution, when she struggled to find any reading material. Coming from an intellectual family, she said one of the most difficult things to do at that time was hiding books so that they would not be confiscated.
My grandmother hid them behind just a layer of newspaper. The Red Guard came to put the cross on the bookshelves, so then we can always lift those.
Grandma, very smart.
Yes, yes.
Which one you like the best?
Dang Wang. Yeah, it was a lot of youth and adventures and love stories.
It's hard to imagine someone like you who have read through that whole bookshelf of
Yeah.
novels which were a taboo at the time and later joined the performance troupe.
Yeah.
How did you mingle with your peers?
Actually, I had a trouble mingling in with that group. On the surface, I was okay, I was one of the kids. But inside, I thought something was wrong, something was wrong with, the atmosphere I was born to and I was raised up in, with music, opera, and all that. And also those kids are suspicious of me too, because when I talk, I said something very caustic, and sometimes I thought it was funny, but it was kind of to them it was painfully caustic. I thought I was joking, but sometimes they think your imagination went too far.
So you were an outlier in a way.
Yes.
Among all your peers at the time.
Yeah. And I fell in love with an officer too early. And I wrote a lot of love letters and love poems. And
the writing began from there. Which is a very good way to start.
Yes. Then I got the criticism of the whole performing troupe. Then I learned how to hide my thoughts. Yeah.
How did you?
And I tried.
Tell me some tricks.
Yes, I tried to hide my diary, my writings, and I tried to write something that is not true. What I really thought in my diary, I knew somebody was going to read it. So I tried to write the diary that I was going to publish them.
Publish them at that time. At the age of 12, Yan Geling became a dancer and joined the Chinese military performing troupe. Her dance career spanned 13 years. During the latter part of it, she volunteered for the front line when the Sino-Vietnamese border conflict broke out. There, she became a journalist, trying to write down what she saw and make sense of everything that happened around her. volunteered to go to the frontiers in which there was a war going on between China and Vietnam.
Yeah, right. I just turned 20. You know, I turned 20 at in January, and the war broke up in March. So I was sent to the field hospital to interview those wounded soldiers. There are really lots of them. The one night there were more than 1,000 soldiers were sent to this field hospital.
Just over one night?
Yeah, over one night. And so.
What was that like for you? I mean, in the middle of the night, all of these bodies injured, coming in all at the same time. For someone who been in a dance troupe, performance troupe, I guess it's a very different world.
Yeah, the overnight it changed my world of heroism or great ideals, because you see all these heroes who are so much in pain, and you know, their mangled body and their body parts missing, you know. And what I remember to this day is the smell of blood. You know, it's yeah, it's like a cloud. It's like you know, it's a very distinctive smell. You know, because it's thick, and so many bodies are all, you know, in the corridors, you know, because there were not so many beds. Forever, I remember that the smell of pain and of death. You know.
Did you talk to them?
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yes.
Who did you talk to?
I talked to many soldiers, many young soldiers.
Is there anyone that you still remember today?
Yes, yes. I remember one soldier who was 20, I think, my age. He had, you know, the genital blown away, and so he was trying to commit suicide. And so the head of that department asked me to talk to him, to cheer him up. So I didn't know what to say, you know, because he was adopted by his actually a bride-to-be, you know, the future bride's family. So he was orphan, right? So and if he couldn't, you know, fulfill his duty as a son-in-law, he couldn't repay the, you know, the love and everything, the raising up the family, give him. So he thought he would rather die. And so I...
what did you say to him?
I don't know. I couldn't think of anything. He was very, very quiet, and you know, he didn't want to talk. And so... but when the doctor came to check him, and you know, something, you know, tickled him, he giggled. Then I thought, well, he probably was okay, so I left. And after I left the hospital and returned to Chengdu, and then somebody told me he really did kill himself.
Did you regret that?
I think he made up his mind. No matter, you know, what he appeared.
So what is hero? You know, what is hero to you? Or does hero or heroism still matter?
I think heroism still matters to me, because it is important in even in everyday life. You know, if you're if it's a weak against strong, and if individual life against the big mob, you know, and if you try to protect who is weaker than you, I think these are all heroism for me.
What is the thing that you've learned from a war? What is war to you, and is it worthwhile for the youth to be spending their time in the war? Upon reflection, because many of the people today have never been through wars, even though there were a lot of talk about wars in the media. What is war?
Oh, well, then afterwards I turned into forever a peacemaker. You know, I tried to join all the peace demonstrations in the U.S. You know, anytime there is a war, and we heard the war was going to happen, or I tried my best to stop it. I know it's futile, you know, it's no use. But then I could make peace with myself.
Her days on the front line changed her perceptions of life and death, war and peace. Yan Geling told me that it is the sole reason why she later wrote the novel, You Touch Me. The novel deals with the teenage performance group in the PLA during the Cultural Revolution, their lives and struggles, and their experience of war during the Sino-Vietnam border conflict. Now it is being adapted into a movie titled Youth, directed by Feng Xiaogang, another household name in China. Despite some ups and downs, the movie is finally hitting Chinese cinemas this week. You are trying in this novel, speaking with different voices, as an author, but at the same time as a young dancer. The author in the book was trying, quote unquote, in a way, talking to this young dancer. So how would you be able to jump back and forth between the used to be you and the current you? Was it painful? Was it fun?
Well, the author in the novel actually is also a fictitious person, because I think I can tell truth better hiding behind my characters. I have more courage because then I don't have this self-censorship. You know, so what if people hold me responsible for what I said, you know, as a Geling or as Yan Geling who said such and such, then they will probably, I'll have to be responsible for all these remarks. But as an author who could be me or could be somebody else, you know, people can't really tell, then I'll be much more courageous and much more truthful. So actually people can find more truth, you know, which is some theory or some philosophy or some what I really think in my novels than in my essays.
Very interesting and very smart. Very smart. I guess it did succeed, isn't it? What is it like for you to be able to write this novel?
Youth.
Just youth.
Well, youth is such abundant life. You know, you never think you could die. You know, it was a long way ahead of you. So it's like,
it's
you
forever.
know, you can't afford to make a wrong move. So you can't afford to waste your love, your emotions. You can't afford to be stupid, you know.
Just embrace everything.
Right. You try everything. If it's a mistake, well, sorry, you know, that I still have time to make up, right? So that's youth. You learn, you know, you learn by making mistakes. So it's all allowed, and then people will forgive you, and you forgive yourself too. But nowadays, if I make a mistake, I might never forgive myself.
That's Yan Geling, one of the biggest names in contemporary Chinese literature. Through her story, one would develop a sense of how contemporary history has shaped writers from China, at least a maverick like her. And with that, we are coming to the end of today's program. If you'd like to see more, please find us, World Insight CGTN, into your search engine or check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Sina Weibo. From me, Tian Wei, and everyone on the World Insight team, thanks for watching. Tune in again next time for insights across China and around the world. Have a great weekend.